Hey everyone, welcome back to the project. This is episode 10 and today we're tackling the back of the van in around the door shelf. So we're going to start on this panel and make our way around, but with this panel now what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom it in for you a little bit so you can see. So what we're going to do here is we're not going to cut out the whole section as a block on this one. We're just going to cut out exactly around where the rust is. Just the border of where it's pitted, basically around, up and across, and hopefully just slide in that little section, tack it in, and there we go. So let's jump onto it. The way I had to cut that out, I felt like an animal every second of it. Yeah, it was just all I had. I need to get myself a little electric. Because the air one's, the compressor that we have just is, no, then the building air half the time, so I've got an electric. But the little disc kind of just, that would be perfect. God. Yeah, hacksaw blades, they don't even, ugh. So we've got this one welded in. I just have to cut or grind, I should say, down the welds and give it a bit of a primer, and then we're all done. So yeah, on to the next panel. So yeah, that actually turned out quite well. Looking at it so far, I suppose we'll get a bit of a better idea when it's ground down, and I'll give you a close-up when it's all nice and shiny. So let's just jump back into it. Right, so we got through this panel. It actually wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. Because it was double panelled, I was expecting a little bit of fiddling about. But as you've seen, just there was a bit of rust on the back of it, so it's just kind of the weld kind of just snapped off. So it was actually grand. I do want to try and get myself a little grinder or something like that. You know, like the air ones, but an electric one with the small disc on it, just for doing little cuts like this, because using the big disc, it's just you end up cutting the whole section out. You know what I mean? So yeah, it actually turned out quite well. I'm happy with the result. So let's just jump on to the next one. Right, so this is the next panel we're going to tackle today. I've got a cutout here that's going to be shaped and molded in to fit into this section once I get it cut out. I've had a look at it already and I've realised that it's going to be a similar job to the last when it comes to, I think, hacksaw blades and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Other than that, I'm reckoning that I will have to cut along that line just there and try and keep a bit of shape in it. I obviously don't want to go into any of the steel that's good. So we're going to cut along here, along there, and the same along around there. And hopefully get that out, get this piece in, and have another piece of the van done. Now, I've had to take the damper off the van for the back door to hold, or so I can get in at this with the grinder. So that means I have a sweeping brush holding the door up and a bit of duct tape holding the damper up. So yeah, let's just pray it doesn't fall and let's just jump into it. The reason I'm using a screwdriver to mess around with the panels is because it's kind of hard to find where the welds are because it's rotten. So if I put the screwdriver in, give it a little bit of a wiggle, the panels separate up as far as where the weld is. So once I get that, I can go, alright, drill that out. So everyone, I've gotten this panel done. It turned out pretty good. It was a little bit tricky because of just getting it to slot in and sit in right. But it didn't go much different to the way the last one went. There was a bit more in it. The main issue that I had that was a little bit frustrating which is quite frustrating, was I didn't have the right, I couldn't use a hacksaw blade on this one, right? It just, that wasn't going to happen. So, and as I say, the angle grinder couldn't get in at it because it'd end up just cutting through the whole panel. The other panels that don't need to be cut, so you can imagine what I mean. But I did try then, I was like, maybe reciprocating saw, a big one that we have, didn't work, just was too big. And I couldn't find blades for the jigsaw, the steel blades. I was thinking that might help, but they ended up, when I did find them, they ended up being too short, so I wouldn't have been able to get in around the panel. And we have this air reciprocating saw, kind of the small one, and it didn't work before. I didn't think much of it, but I was told that it's working fine now, so I threw a blade into it and it chopped it out fairly well. So I'm going to be using that from now on when we continue on to the next one, because I think I'm going to fill, there's only a few little pits and a few little holes up here, but they're only small, so I'm probably going to just put a few welds on it and just tack it in and just grind it down, because there's no real point in cutting out a section. Plus the section is actually, that little part is different on the van. From here, it's actually funny, from here up is different because it's a high roof. It's actually the same here, and then as it travels up to the bend on the roof, it's a bit different. The only thing that I'll throw on that now is when it's being done, I'll sand off my primer, a little bit of filler anywhere that there's a little bit of a pit or a bit, because there's plenty of weld on it. It's good and solid. So yeah, it's grand. I'll put a little bit of filler if it's needed. Even there's a little, I don't know whether you've seen a little recess, the 3 little dense recesses in the panel. There's one there, and it's sure when it comes to it, if I decide to, I'll file that out and shape that in like it was originally, because the tool for that, the little reamer tool, is actually broke, because I was going to remount the rust out of it as well today. I was going to try that, but that's broke. So yeah, let's jump on to the next panel. Right, so everyone, cutting to my room. The reason we're not in the garage right now, standing behind the van, is because it's lashing rain outside and you wouldn't be able to hear a word I'm saying. So there's a bit of a storm going on. Don't know what that's about, but hey, I still have to put a video out. So I says I'll explain what the crack is with the video, or do my outro in my room. So basically all I wanted to say was an update on finishing the van, the back of it. The reason that I didn't show me completing the other side of it was last night. It was like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and I was sitting in my room and I was like, hey, I want to do my van. So I went up to the village, that's not far from me, grabbed a couple cans, went up to the garage and just worked on it, got most of it done, and then this morning just finished a few bits off and took that little video that you're seeing of the other side. So I just said I'd get that through, and I wasn't going to film it last night. Wouldn't have been suitable YouTube content, probably not, and I didn't want to see anyone to see me cut my head off with a grinder accidentally because I was drunk. I wasn't drunk, I only had 1 can. But yeah, so that's what's happening, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.